Hi, my name is Kevin Cadogan, and this is Bridge the Atlantic.
Welcome to Bridge the Atlantic's interviews, where we get to know the people behind and in front of the creative industries. We're your hosts, music web designer Ross Barber-Smith from Scotland, owner of Electric Kiwi, where we create awesome custom websites for bands, artists and musicians. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook as Electric Kiwi.
And I'm singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist Marcio Novelli from Canada, a man who wears many hats, literally and figuratively. When I'm not releasing music under my own name or my side project Midnight Soundtrack, I'm producing and mixing records for other artists. Speaking of which, if you'd like me to work on your next song, EP, or album, I'm currently taking submissions, so get in touch. You can connect with me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, and Patreon, which are all my name, Marcio Novelli.
And we are on Patreon too, and we've got lots of exciting stuff to share with you on there. You can support us from as little as $1 per episode, and in exchange you get some patron-only exclusives. We have just upgraded some things over there, so head on over and check it out.
Yeah, perks include early access to content, sponsored ads at the start and end of our shows, as well as your chance to co-host an episode alongside Ross and I, your two favorite co-hosts, of course. But most importantly, you'll be directly enabling us to keep bringing you weekly interviews with interesting people, which is the goal of doing this show. And we just want to spread knowledge about music and in the entertainment industries and help each other out, because that's really what it's all about. And that's what Ross and I are incredibly passionate about.
And speaking of helping each other out, we want to help keep you warm, keep you clothed with official BTA shirts. They are available to purchase on our website. They look great on you. And
we know it.
All proceeds go into helping us keep the lights on here at Bridge the Atlantic. There's a link to get them in our show notes, and if you use the coupon code BTAROCKS, you receive 10% off your purchase as our little way of saying thank you.
Gracias. And finally, I'm recording my second solo album, and I kindly invite you to help make it a reality. You can contribute to my crowdfunding campaign on Pledge Music by going to marcionovelli.com/pledge. No amount is too small. I truly appreciate your support and anything that you can help me out with. Everyone who pledges receives an immediate free download of my new acoustic EP, The Reimagining Volume 1, just as a thank you from me to you for being awesome. I hope you check it out, and thank you so much.
Our guest this week is Kevin Cadogan out of Berkley, California. Kevin is a founding member of Third Eye Blind and performed with the band from 1993 to 2000. He co-wrote some of the band's most notable hits, including How's It Gonna Be, Losing a Whole Year, and Graduate.
Since parting ways with Third Eye Blind, Kevin has released solo material and has also began touring with XEB, a band made up of ex-Third Eye Blind members. We're looking forward to hearing more about Kevin's experience in the music industry, what he's up to now, and the advice he'd offer to his fellow musicians. So, welcome to the show, Kevin. Well, let's get awkward and have you tell us 3 things about yourself that everyone should know.
I'm a dual citizen. I'm a dual citizen with Ireland. I'm an Irish citizen.
No way.
And an American citizen. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
So, like, for all those rad European bands that were thinking of working with me, but didn't want to have to wait for the American in customs, taking a long time, I can just go right through with you guys. So
that's awesome.
Dual citizen. What else? I have 3 beautiful daughters and a wife that I love. I love being a dad. And I think I'm an optimist. I try to be optimistic about the future, and mostly I am. It's a struggle these days to be optimistic, but there's a lot to be optimistic about. I think this century is going to be an amazing one, and I love pondering those things.
Well, hopefully we can help bring some optimism today to you and everyone tuning into the show. Some of the songs you co-wrote, I'm just going to go right to it before we even really dig into the interview. We're pretty much the soundtrack to my youth. Just letting you know, love all those tunes, love your contributions to it. And we're excited to chat with you today. We really are.
Well, I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. That's a great idea. I love what you guys are doing. I'm kind of new to finding out about you guys, but I watched a few videos.
Don't worry, most people are new to finding out about us. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're ahead of the curve. You've already checked out some interviews.
I know. That's
most people are new finding about me as well. So we're good.
Cool. Well, I'd like to jump in and talk a little bit about Third Eye Blind. So, as we mentioned in the intro, you had numerous commercial hits with the band, and it was the largest recording deal ever for an unsigned artist in 1996. I don't know if it still is, but at the time it was. How did you handle that so early in your career? And in hindsight, do you think that was the best route for you guys to take?
I don't know if it was the biggest recording. I know that's been reported, but I think that's probably bullshit. I think that it was the Guns N' Roses had a huge record deal. I don't think we approached even close to that. I think it was like 1.2 million for the total thing, including when videos cost $300,000 to make. I mean, we actually literally made a dumb video for $300,000. So it was a different world back then. The money, with those kinds of numbers that were required for just the back end stuff, like the video production, there really wasn't that much. I mean, I swear it was. I think we each got like $7,000 or something. And I took my girlfriend on a bike riding trip to Amsterdam, and that was like the big thing. And then after that, it was $2,000, sort of a stipend that we lived on while making the record. We didn't do the record. We were pretty frugal about it. We did do some extravagant things, like go to Skywalker Ranch, Lucas Skywalker Ranch, yeah, and tracked in a beautiful concert hall there, and so that was kind of an extravagant thing. But overall, the money was saved and used for touring. We toured for many years, and so it wasn't something that I was really conscious of, like, oh, I'm suddenly rich now. I mean, I didn't get that feeling at all. I knew that we had a great shot, and that there were people behind us, and that it was an exciting time for sure. But I just was focused on making the record. And, I think that maybe if we all were handed like $200,000 or something, it might have been, maybe it wouldn't have been, it would have changed the vibe of the recording process. And so in a way it was good to sort of maintain that feeling of being broke. It's a sort of a continuation of what got us there in the first place.
I think it's amazing because the people's perception of it and what actually the reality of it is just so opposite, I guess you probably had people thinking that you were millionaire rock stars right off the bat.
Oh, well, with my friends, it's like if you could afford the 12-pack of Top Ramen, you're like, oh, get out of here, you rock star.
What do you think you
what
are?
I mean? So, yeah, exactly. Who do you think this guy is now? He's got the different flavors. He's got the French onion. Now he's doing this.
Bastard.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So it didn't take much to get people to hate you and envy you. You know what I mean?
And yet you're still struggling,
like a bike riding. Yeah, a plane ticket to Amsterdam. It's like, fuck him. So.
Well, you parted ways with Third Eye Blind in 2000. It sounds like a lot of it was down to legal issues. Feel free to speak about any of that. Feel free not to. It's completely up to you. But what we do want to know, regardless of what you want to divulge, what did you learn from the experience?
What did I learn from it? Okay, so just backing up, it was about business, actually. I mean, it wasn't. It was about the ownership of the name, and I disagreed with the idea that one person should own the band name. I felt the band should own the band name, and that those splits could be negotiated. But there's a lot of numbers between 0 and 100, and my philosophy was that 0 was probably too much down on this end of the scale, and so 0 would be over here, 100 over here, something over here,
something
and
fair.
Yeah, well, okay. So it was a difficult position to be in, learning those things, learning more about how things were set up as a corporation, and that it's the last thing you want to think about when you're making a record and you're having success in other areas. I was really fortunate. The one thing that really saved me was publishing, actually mailing in the for the envelopes. Back then, you couldn't do anything online, so you had to literally mail in your copyright forms from the government. And that single act right there is the thing that protected me the most from musical industry predators, really. That was the single most important thing that I ever did, was copyright my stuff. And so aside from that, that was the important takeaway.
So was a lot of this from outside influence, or did a lot of this come from within the band? How much was, outside kind of people influencing the members of the band and kind of completely messing with the jive that you guys already had going on?
Right. Well, the manager and the singer were very close friends. The manager had started off being an investor in the band, and through court documents, when Steven, the singer, sued his best friend, the manager, years later, it came out that the manager was actually ghostwriting a lot of lyrics too. So, there was a tight relationship between them. I think, from the manager's perspective, he wanted to kind of thought it'd be easier to be able to control one person than have it be multiple people, which, makes sense. I think a lot of people would like, if you look at it from the perspective of just managing things, it's easier to just manage one person if they're in control of everything than managing multiple people. But I think, the outcome didn't end up being as good as it could have been if everyone was sort of more fairly given equity. Even though it may have been short-term easier to sort of make some of the decisions, I think that some of the decisions ended up not being the best ones.
For who?
Even though they were made alone, for everybody, for himself even.
Really?
Yeah. Well, certainly he ended up in a lawsuit with his best friend. So,
sure. Absolutely. Is there any animosity? We're going to move on from Third Eye Blind here, but is there any animosity? Have you guys had a chance to kind of let bygones be bygones, or what kind of situation are you right now and the rest of the ex-members of Third Eye Blind with the current members of Third Eye Blind?
Well, what's really exciting is I've reunited with like, as you pointed out, some other members of the band, and one of them being one of the composers and the bass player, Ryan Salazar. The other being Tony Fredianelli. I actually ran into Ryan Salazar at the DMV of all places. So we had not talked. I mean, we hadn't talked for probably, I don't know, it was about 11 years, 12 years. And then we ran into each other just randomly at the DMV. Do you guys have a DMV or something similar to that?
Something
the
similar,
Department of Motor Vehicles?
Oh, yeah. Something similar.
What's it called where you're
I
at?
don't even know where it's called. What it's called.
Here it's the DVLA.
The DVLA.
I don't know what the DVLA stands for, but that's what it's called. But I mean, I guess pleasant. The DMV probably never thought that their tagline would be bringing people together. Like that's
exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, obviously,
it should be.
So you are, you're in a group with ex-members of Third Eye Blind now, XEB.
So we got together, and we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of this album, the debut album being released, okay. So what happened was I was asked by a guitar player to do a little retrospective podcast on the record, and I hadn't played this stuff in forever, and I picked up a guitar and was learning it, and went and did this really fun podcast, and the people in the band heard it and contacted me. I got a really nice letter from Ryan, and so we just decided to reconnect, and we thought, well, it'd be fun just to go out and play our music again. Let's just see how that works. It won't be the entire band, but the band that's not the entire band is doing it. So, well, they actually weren't playing the entire album at that time, but we thought it'd be a fun idea, a fun thing to do. And since I had already spent all this time relearning my stuff for this guitar player podcast, I thought, well, I don't want to let all this knowledge go to waste. So let's start playing it. And we just, we couldn't find anyone in the music industry to really help. I mean, we didn't really go asking too much, but we thought, well, let's just just rent out some place and sell tickets on Eventbrite. And we totally did all this ourselves, and just, people came. They flew across the country. They flew from, Europe and stuff to come see us play in this little weird, like, converted auto body shop place that we rented. I mean, it was just like the most DIY thing you could ever imagine. Like a keg of beer, you know. And I'm not even joking. And so we did that, and it was just a lot of fun. And then the Tony Frettinelli guy, who was another member for a very brief period of time, Third Eye Blind, like in 1993, was a 5-piece. And then he left like after a couple of weeks, and came back in 2000, and sort of this bitter, ironic thing in my life that happened that was brutal back then. But now it's kind of, we're sharing a good laugh about it, which is great. I love outcomes like that. All's well that ends well, right? So for us, that's kind of how it is. It's an all's well that ends well thing. And we've completed like a little tour on the East Coast last, in May. And we're doing another one in September. And, so we're just having a lot of fun.
What can people expect from your shows, from your live shows?
Well, they can expect to hear the debut album, like just played by the people that recorded it and helped create it. And that's a pretty cool thing.
Absolutely. Are you ready for 20 questions?
Are we already there? Are we doing the 20 question thing?
We're there.
It's okay. We're not done, but we're there.
Okay. All right.
You ready?
Sure. No.
Coffee or tea?
Okay. Coffee.
Meat or veggies?
Okay, I'll go with veggies. Not the honest answer, but it's the right one.
It wins my heart. Twitter or Facebook?
Facebook.
Indie or major?
Indie.
CD or vinyl?
Vinyl.
Yoga or yogurt?
Yogurt.
Education or experience?
I sound so resigned. Sorry, I sound so resigned. Like yogurt, fine.
Fine, yogurt. Education or experience?
Experience.
Marvel or DC?
God, man, you guys got me on that one. Marvel? I don't know. Marvel.
Seemed like a question. Canada or Scotland?
I don't know the difference. It's a tough one, right? Canada, they're our neighbors.
That's right. You guys done a lot of touring around here.
But we are Ireland's neighbors.
Yeah,
so,
well.
Oh, shit, you're right. Okay, Scotland, never mind. Bye.
Oh,
No more Canada.
come on.
No
second
these are mean.
chances.
These are mean questions. These are divisive. These are meant to come together here. We need to get the DMV in here.
Wait till the last
I know they'll
one.
bring us together. Talent or attitude?
Boy, I like talent. Gotta go with talent.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Lennon or McCartney?
Lennon.
Ghosts or aliens?
Aliens.
Do you believe in aliens? Conspiracy.
I don't. No, I don't. No. I don't believe in ghosts either. So.
We're not judging you. We're not judging you.
Or Superman?
Batman.
Vampires
Batman?
or zombies?
Zombies. No, vampires.
Okay.
Vampires.
Michael Jackson or Michael Bolton?
Oh, come on. That's so easy. Michael Jackson.
I thought he was going to say that's so easy. It's the Bolt.
I wish. I'm still dreaming for that day. Whale or kale?
Whale or kale? Kale. Whales, there's not something to eat.
No. Maybe this is not something you eat. It's just the
this
concept.
one's very open to interpretation.
Just a concept.
Oh.
Just the concept of whale or kale. Just in
Well,
general.
it just made me think of like eating a whale or something.
Ugh.
Kale. Yeah, that's terrible.
Ugh. Celine Dion or
You guys
Marilyn
have
Manson?
sick minds. Celine Dion or what?
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson. Way.
Yeah.
And similarly, Bette Midler or the Riddler?
Kind of similarly.
The Riddler. Yeah.
And your final question is
Okay.
Ross or Marcio?
That's so not right. No, No, I can't do that. That's not. I don't even. I mean, we're getting to know each other. We have to spend more time with the DMV.
I know.
We'll see how that works.
Okay.
Okay. We'll take that.
Just
Yeah,
so you know,
take that.
usually Ross asks this question, and we had this theory that Ross gets picked about 90% of the time. 90% of the time? Maybe 91% of the time?
No, not as much.
And the
as
theory
that.
is that it's because he's the one who asks it. That's at least my theory, my hope.
You know what? And wait, who
But I
asked
asked it today, and no one was picked.
Well, my inclination was to say you, because you're right. Like, whoever asked the question, you want to sort of appease them and make them feel
Ross, we're gonna have to switch it. We're gonna have to switch this up every week.
But it is a brutal question.
It is. I know.
It's a brutal question.
You know what? And it was my idea, and Ross was completely opposed to it originally, and I insisted on it, and now I regret it. Anyways, moving on.
But you shouldn't regret it because I picked you. I mean, after I said I wasn't going to pick anybody, I said I would have picked you because you said it first.
That's kind of like one of those romantic things, like, it would have been you as you went away in slow motion on an airplane.
Ross isn't saying anything, so it's like, why would I pick him?
Ross is imagining the scene with Michael Bolton playing in the background.
It would have been you.
And Michael Jackson going, how am I supposed to live without you? And it's amazing, and I'm loving this scene so much. That's where I'm going to live from now on, is in that scene.
Sounds good.
We need some advice in those awesome people that are tuning into this need your advice. Okay, based on your experience in the music industry, what would you tell other musicians who want to make a living as part of a band? Is there one piece of advice that you'd advise them to do early on in their career before there are lawsuits?
Well, well, since I did have some unique, I mean, hopefully they were unique, sort of contractual trickery and business trickery done to me. I really hope no one goes through that or has to deal with those same things. So I think, I don't think it probably comes up very often, but, you want to make sure if you're a band that band members, certainly people involved in the creative process, have equity in the band. And so that can be done sooner rather than later. You want to make sure you do that. The making a living part, it's like, the cliche about the destination being, it being about the journey, not the destination. That cliche, I think, is you've got to hold on to that one, because the destination that you're hoping for in this game is a difficult one. And I know that, for me, being in your early 20s and being out there, knowing what you're up against, it's crushing. It can be really crushing when people, we played little clubs and no one gave a shit, about what we were doing. And it wasn't just an instant, like, here's the biggest record deal that's ever been signed kind of thing. It was a while of just sort of like, people not caring. And so just persistence is also obviously a key. With the tools that you guys have now, I mean, like doing what you guys are doing, the podcast, getting an electric skateboard and starting a vlog like the Casey Neistat guy. I mean, that's amazing. You have all these tools to promote your band. I would say stay in control of your most important asset, which is the name, whatever you're doing, the trademark, okay? And all of your social media related to that, because that's what's going to be how people communicate through the rest of the world. No one's going to care about you guys individually in the band. They're only going to care about the band name, even though you might think that you're amazing in your own ways. So be very careful about the trademark and the band name.
That's something I've never really thought about before. That is so well put and so powerful, I think, coming from you, who's experienced this whole thing. At the end of the day, as a band gets successful, it's the brand, right?
Right,
they really care about the brand, the name, because that's what's going to sell a record rather than who's in the band.
Yeah, and it's been proven. I mean, whether it's this, and you would think, well, no, it's the singer. Well, no, the singer could go. Anyone's expendable about the name, and that's been proven with with bands that have lost the singers and kept the name, and bands that have lost the,
Well,
whatever.
and members of bands,
guitar players,
like,
members of
especially
the
the singers going off to do solo projects that aren't successful, and it's still that singer
Sure.
that,
Yeah.
it's interesting because people are still paying
yeah, I
attention
mean-
to that name. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Where's the best place for people to connect with you online?
Okay, so Facebook is really good. I've been communicating with a lot of fans on Facebook and people that have messaged me and such. I'm also on Twitter. So, and I think I'm like Kevin Cadogan 1 on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter too. That's Kevin Cadogan.
Perfect.
And official XEB is the Facebook for the
Perfect.
XEB band. So,
Perfect.
we'll see how it goes. We do have plans to actually record and make live music. We
Yes.
reconnected with some of the people involved with the production of the first record.
Oh,
Not
wow.
Eric Valentine, but,
Sure.
but I mean people that were around that, and maybe at his studio. We might do some stuff at Eric Valentine's studio. But
Well, we're
we'll
excited
see
about
how
that,
it
and definitely we want to share that with everyone. So let us know when that's happening, and we'll have you back on to
Yeah.
talk about that.
And as for us, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, and YouTube. Visit our website and pick up one of our shirts while you're there too.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm currently working on my second solo album. You can be part of it at marcionovelli.com/pledge. When you support my new album, you also get a free download of my acoustic EP, The Reimagining Volume 1, as a thank you for being awesome, like I said earlier. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, as well as Spotify and Patreon, which are all my name, Marcio Novelli.
Don't wear it out. And I'm working on websites for various artists at the moment, and you can check out my work at electrickiwi.co.uk. You'll find me on Twitter and Instagram as Electric Kiwi, and on Facebook, Electric Kiwi Design.
This episode was brought to you by the wonderful 30 Roses, a virtual assistant and consultant to musicians and other creatives, as well as Chris Keaton, Music Entrepreneur HQ, and Social Surge. All links are in the show notes, so please check them out, because what do they do, Ross?
They keep the show alive. And if you would like to sponsor the show, visit patreon.com/bridgetheatlantic. As we mentioned earlier, we've recently updated our rewards, which now include sponsorship at the start of our interviews, as well as an opportunity for you to co-host an episode. And please do also make sure to subscribe on YouTube and iTunes so you don't miss any episodes, and leave us a comment and let us know what you think of the show.
Absolutely. Kevin, this has been an absolute pleasure.
this is so much fun, guys. Thanks. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, we
Well,
appreciate
you're
you.
awesome, and this is just an awesome circle here, or triangle maybe, because there's three of us, but
Thanks,
who
guys.
cares? Shapes are just shapes.
Come back again soon, okay?
Okay. Bye.